Welcome to this explainer. I am so excited to dive into this with you today, because we're going to unpack something that's literally sitting right there on your dinner plate. We live in an era that's totally obsessed with protein powders, lab-made supplements, and tracking every single macro. But what if I told you that some of the most profound, perfectly balanced nutritional science is hidden in the everyday, traditional meals passed down for centuries? Today, we are decoding the hidden nutritional science of traditional Indian meals. I'm going to show you how ancient culinary traditions were basically mastering biochemistry way before microscopes were even a thing.
It's a genuine mystery when you actually stop and think about it. Who told our ancestors to mix dal and rice, right? Thousands of years ago, no modern labs, zero understanding of cellular biology. How did people know exactly what ingredients to combine to create the ultimate biological fuel? They didn't have apps to track this stuff, and yet, generation after generation, they flawlessly paired ingredients that perfectly complemented each other.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The dal-rice secret and the amino acid puzzle.
So to really grasp the genius here, we gotta look at how our bodies build protein using amino acids. Think of them like puzzle pieces. Some of these puzzle pieces our bodies just can't make on their own, so we have to get them from our food. Take rice, for example. Fantastic food, has almost everything your body needs, but it famously lacks one essential amino acid called lysine. Now compare that to dal or lentils. Dal has an incredible nutritional profile, but it just happens to lack a different essential amino acid, methionine. So on their own, they're basically biologically incomplete.
But when you bring them together on the plate, boom, you unlock a magic number, 9. By mixing dal and rice, you instantly create a complete protein profile that delivers all 9 essential amino acids your body requires. It's literally a biological masterpiece. Absolutely perfect. Our ancestors essentially solved this incredibly complex biochemical equation just by figuring out what tasted good and made them feel strong. No way, right?
Let's keep going. Section 2. Regional power combos. See, this wasn't just some lucky guess by one person in one village. This was a pan-Indian scientific phenomenon. Up in the north, like we just talked about, you've got the classic dal rice. But travel down south and you find idli sambar. The source material points out that if you make idli sambar traditionally using all the authentic ingredients, you're once again hitting that perfect combination of all 9 essential amino acids. And it just keeps going across regions. We see moth or moong dal paired with bajra roti. We see maki ki roti with sarson ka saag, traditionally eaten with dahi or curd. Actually, curd, buttermilk, raita, these are massive nutritional powerhouses that naturally contain complete amino acids. So every single region, using completely different local crops, mathematically arrived at the exact same complete protein solution.
And that brings us to one of my absolute favorite details from the source. It says early researchers found complete amino acids in every traditional combination tested, so they actually stopped the research. Think about how wild that is. Scientists went into labs to test these ancient food combos, fully expecting to find variations or nutritional flaws. Instead, every single traditional dish they analyzed yielded a perfect amino acid profile. It was so predictably perfect, so relentlessly flawless, that they just packed up and stopped the research. The ancient recipes had already done the heavy lifting.
But, okay, let's look at the world today. We gotta ask, is this all just guesswork? And what about the portion sizes today? This is the classic modern skeptic's argument. People hear this ancient wisdom and go, well, maybe it's just a trend. And besides, with the tiny bowls of dal we eat today, are we really getting enough of those amino acids? And honestly, that's a super fair question. To answer it, we have to take a hard look at how our eating habits have completely shifted over time.
Which brings us to Section 3, Modern Lifestyles and Adulteration.
Because the truth is, the food our ancestors ate is not exactly the food we're eating today, even if it shares the same name. There is a huge, stark contrast here. On one side, we have this traditional, slow-cooked science. This was a nutritional profile that evolved from a complete, holistic lifestyle. Now compare that to what the source cleverly calls our modern two-whistle reality. Today, we buy washed, highly processed dal because, let's face it, it's convenient. We throw it in a pressure cooker, wait for 2 whistles, and high-five ourselves for how fast dinner was ready. But we're doing this in high-stress environments, often eating heavily adulterated food. We've basically traded that slow-cooked nutritional extraction for modern speed.
So the absolutely crucial point is this. The problem isn't the ancient science, it's the modern compromise. When skeptics question if a bowl of dal is enough today, they're kind of missing the big picture. They're ignoring the fact that our quick-fix, two-whistle cooking methods heavily compromise the nutritional value of the food itself. Add our high-stress lifestyles to the mix, which totally wrecks our digestion, and yeah, we have a problem. The science of the past hit the nail on the head. It's our modern execution of that science that's dropping the ball.
All right, Section 4, Reclaiming Ancient Nutrition.
So how do we actually take this knowledge and use it today? Like, how did our ancestors sustain themselves beyond just that one single meal of dal and rice? Well, they didn't just sit down for one magically balanced meal and then fast the rest of the day. No, they had these brilliant holistic snacking habits. For example, in the heat of the summer, they'd be snacking on roasted chana, which is a pulse packed with protein. They munched on traditional namkeen across both North and South India, and guess what? That stuff is almost entirely made from a massive variety of dals. They seamlessly worked ragi and over 50 different varieties of millets into their daily routines. They were constantly naturally topping up their amino acids all day long, completely without ever having to read a single nutrition label.
Which leads us to this massive core takeaway. True nutrition evolved from a complete lifestyle, not just a recipe. It was all about eating slowly, cooking mindfully, weaving diverse grains and pulses into everyday snacks, and living in a way that supported proper digestion. You really can't just isolate the dal rice recipe, strip away the whole lifestyle, pressure cook it in 2 minutes, and expect the exact same ancient benefits. To really reclaim this kind of health, we got to slow down and embrace the broader, more mindful approach of our ancestors.
So I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. If our ancestors cracked the code to complete biology thousands of years ago, completely blind to modern science, what else are we missing in our modern rush? It really makes you want to look at your kitchen, your cooking habits, and your whole lifestyle through a totally different lens, doesn't it? Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I highly encourage you to start looking a little closer at the brilliant science hiding right there on your plate.